Did they make
No,
contact?
no. It's pretty close, but this is going to be a drag race.
Right Look there. At this.
Moves him to win it. Carl Edwards bump and dump and run.
Here comes Gordon right up to the bumper again.
You hear that wheel spin, Benny?
Yeah, I did hear that wheel spin.
The bump and run.
There it is.
Gordon underneath to the lead. 2 laps to go.
Maine to really turn around. Maine to Riley's cage up.
Yeah, welcome to the Bump and Run podcast. I'm your host, Michael D. White, joined by my two best friends, Matt the Statman Reilly and Eric Daytona Ron. It's the Little League World Series going on this week. Hope you're hitting dingers. Hope you won the race like AJ Allmendinger. Yeah, I know you love it, Matt. I know. Don't hide that face if you're listening along. Matt is not happy with that joke. But if you are happy with those jokes, you're enjoying the podcast. Make sure you like.
My dad just called. He wants his joke back.
Like, share, and subscribe. Podcast available every Monday night. Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Amazon Music, and more. You know the deal. You know where to find us at Bump and the letter N runpod.com. All the links you need. We're on YouTube every Tuesday morning. Video drops 6 a.m. I want to wake you guys up on Tuesdays mornings to our beautiful faces, breaking down all the latest NASCAR. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, Bump the letter N Run Pod. How the hell are you guys? How was your weekend?
It was a rough one. You know, I'm back on the old booze train here. I made myself a good old liquor bowl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice yard sale find, dude. Nice old, like the crystal.
Yeah, the
like
old
that
70s crystal.
Amber, that amber color. Oh,
did it come with
liquor.
some like chalice glasses too?
Oh, with a bunch, like the real small ones. Like I don't use those because it's
like 4 ounces.
Dips done. Yeah, get the hell out of here. Put it in a big old jug and had a bonfire Saturday night at the hole up here and had a few people over. Burned a couch, burned a couple baby cribs.
Yeah, I saw you guys burning some stuff. I was watching the videos you were sending. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be breathing that kind of shit in. I mean, you're burning fabrics and stuff like that.
Hey, you only live once, right? You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. Luke kept in the videos, our buddy Luke, he was like yelling like, oh, fire tornado. Like, what the hell is a fire tornado? I didn't know what was going on.
I feel like it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah, it wasn't showing up on the video because I saw that the next day. But, dude, in person, it was legitimate. Like, the way the wood was, like, over the fire and the way, like, the surrounding logs were, it just caused the flame
like
to shoot
vortex.
out of a certain area in a vortex of flame.
That's pretty cool.
And it extended out pretty far because we had some good flamage going on that fire, and it looked cooler in person than it did in video.
Oh, yeah. Well, you want to know what? It's just like a sunset or any of that stuff. Like, you never capture the majestic view as in person. Same with the fire. But I was getting nervous about you guys burning all that stuff because it was looking real tall. And don't you have a bunch of trees right around your fire pit?
Ah, we're good,
It's
dude.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
We
you better hope it's fine.
We used to
We got a couple my dirty old raspberry bush. That thing's done and bloomed, so we're all right.
Yeah.
we
Lots
used
of
to-
nice
we used
dry
to,
leaves on bushes.
We used to have
It's
big
been
old fires. We used to have big old fires up at our buddy Mike's cabin all the time throughout high school and college.
Yeah,
And it was
those are real dangerous too.
Yeah, surrounded by the woods. It's fine. It's fine.
I don't know. I remember one time being up at Mike's house and the fire was like taller than all of us and people just kept piling on old pieces of fencing. I'm like, this is not going to end well.
Fine. You don't want it to go this way. Tall is okay. You want it to spread wide.
I think
Right,
someone tried to jump over it too. I think they tripped and fell into the fire.
That was a normal thing up there.
Well, I'm glad Eric, everyone survived the fire. How about you, Matt? What were you up to this weekend?
Quiet. I didn't do. We went to go look at some appliances, some furniture, getting an idea of prices and things like that. It's going to be getting down to about the time where we have to start making those decisions. So that's literally that's it. That's all I did as far as anything major this weekend. It was quiet, but once again, by design. I was telling you guys before we came on air that the next couple, one more week. Next weekend's going to be like another quiet weekend, hopefully. And then after that, it's pretty much all gas, no break until God knows when. So I'm taking it easy for the time being.
Yeah, I hear you. Little pro tip when you're going to buy appliances and stuff. I learned this from the NASCAR pit crews. When the people aren't looking, just kind of shove your shoulder into the side of it. And then like, as you're talking to the person, like, well, how about selling me this floor model for a little bit less? I mean, it's dented, but I'll take it. If you chop off a couple $100 or so.
That's a veteran move.
I learned that from Ryan Newman's pit crew this year. Weren't they busted on pit road for doing that?
Yeah, or Penske over the past 10 years.
Well, you got to gain any edge you can in racing and when making large purchases like that. So,
yeah, but quiet. So it's gonna start ramping up. Yeah, what'd you do?
I'm on the MAP plan, man. I'm trying to save some money. My credit card bill is out of control this month. I'm about a paycheck behind when it comes to bills. I don't know what happened. You know what really happened? I went like balls to the wall during Pocono buying like camping gear and all sorts of stuff. And I dug myself into a nice like $1,500, $2,000 hole over like a month period between tickets and buying air mattresses and survival gear. I got a survival knife for $30 that I didn't even use. I lost it like the first day we got there. So like, I'm still trying to financially recover from June.
Did you get a survival knife because of the bear conversation that we had before Pocono?
Yeah, and you want to know what? So these guys were breaking my balls before we went to Pocono. Pocono is literally in the mountains. It's the Pocono Mountains. There's ski resorts and shit down the road. And I was like, well, what about bears? We're going to have a lot of food and everything. Like, do I have to worry about bears coming into camp? Because it happens all the time. You see on the news and stuff that a nuisance bear is living underneath someone's like back porch in the Pocono. So I was thinking about it. And I'm not the only one, because Mike Bagley of MRN and SiriusXM, he brought up the same exact thing to the track president the week before the Pocono doubleheader. So I don't want to hear it that I'm some crazy guy worried about bears.
You know how black bears work down there, and they don't just go rummaging through Florida.
He's from Delaware. I'm sure he's seen a black bear or two in his life. Little brown bear stuck in a tree in Delaware.
They see you and they run.
That's exactly right.
Fast away from you. That's what they do.
I'm just saying, I spent a lot of money on my cooler, and I wanted to make sure it was it was safe against what's the old Yogi Bear and Boo Boo trying to steal my picnic basket. All right. Anyways,
happen.
Anyways, yeah, I had a low key weekend, just trying to save some money and stuff. Plus, we got the Pittston Tomato Festival, which is a local food and beer festival here.
That's this weekend, right?
It is. It starts Thursday night, so like I'm gonna be spending a lot of money down there on sausage and pepper sandwiches, beer at the beer tents, all sorts of stuff. Also, we got the Pocono Air Show coming up on Sunday and Michigan. I'm trying to do all three in one day. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it all off though. If you guys are interested in going to the air show, I know a couple years ago, huh?
Yeah, I'm going. Shrey,
are you?
Shrey Kamala, Dana and I got tickets.
Okay.
And I think Jay, Luke, and Brandon are also going to get tickets.
All right, then I'm gonna have to get with Jay and Luke and Brandon to see if I can jump in with them. It's at 1 o'clock.
There's like a 4-pack that's a good deal. It's like $30 a ticket. It comes out to be in.
Okay,
that's not bad. Plus, they're gonna have like the what was it, the Thunderbirds or Snowbirds or something like that. We got some fucking F1 jets, F-16s and stuff.
Finally, proper
ones that fly over Daytona.
Yeah,
the Thunder.
Pocono will finally get a proper flyover.
Oh yeah, man, that one at Pocono was weak. I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what, the first one was sick, dude. The first one with that big son of a bitch that came through was awesome. He dumped, he like
the AC-30 or whatever.
Give me fighter jets, dude. We're right by freaking, where is it? Norfolk? Like, we're done by Delaware. Like, we have so many.
Dover's down there.
Like, let's go. Send some jets over.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'll have to get what you guys do that. Plus, that's the thing. Like, every other week, it's just shelling out money. And so I was trying to keep it easy this week. Other than that, nothing really going on. We got a little bit of NASCAR news. You guys want to jump into that? Not too many stories.
Yeah, it was quiet this week, but go ahead. Let's jump into it.
Sometimes quiet's good though. Bob Pockers tweeted, he alluded to 2311 is in talks with Front Row Motorsports to possibly get one of their charters or possibly merge with the team. What do you guys think about that? This is the first I heard of it was today, and I was a little surprised. I guess Denny didn't deny or confirm it. He says like everything's still in the works. So, but could you see Front Row maybe making the switch to Toyota or selling off a charter to Denny or renting one out? And then what happens with Anthony Alfredo and Michael McDowell, you know?
Yeah, I don't have too much on that. For me, Front Row doesn't really move the meter for me, so it's
No.
kind of like a whatever. I am curious to see what would happen to Alfredo and McDowell, but that's not like, as far as silly season goes, like that's one of those things where, to me anyway, it's one of those things where it's like, let's just see what happens. I'm not really anticipating much there.
Michael McDowell has been dedicated to that team. He's given them everything that he's had in his whole career. I don't think he goes anywhere. I think he finishes out his NASCAR career there. And, you know, depending on what the deal is that Denny's getting out of it, you know, I think Front Row would have, you know, I would hold the leverage there and be like, hey, Denny, if I sell you this charter, whatever your car does, you know, the positioning and the money, like I want a good deal of that.
A chunk of it or something, yeah.
Right. Anthony Alfredo, sorry, Anthony Alfredo. I know you came in dead last too this week, but like, I'm sure, you know, Front Row would like to lease that and get more money out of an organization that's going to do better with that charter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whoever they stick in that car is going to do better than Anthony Alfredo. So I could see them maybe ditching him and, you know, sorry, go back down the ranks, buddy. See ya.
Let's maybe we see something like JTG Doherty did this year, where they run one charter car with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and then, you know, Ryan Preece is just an open team trying to get in every week. And I mean, so far it's worked out for them. He had to race his way into Daytona, and after that, no hiccups since then. So I mean, that's definitely an option. We'll see what happens with that. Again, nothing confirmed, just the rumor mill on Twitter today that I saw. Kyle Larson didn't win this past weekend in the Cup Series, but he did win the Knoxville Nationals giant dirt sprint car racing event. So big congratulations to him, just lighting it up everywhere he goes. He could have won this weekend too in Cup. I thought it was interesting. He flew on Denny Hamlin's plane. I think he got back around 3 a.m.
Yeah, he did.
And then they had to qualify at 9 o'clock, and he did well in qualifying. Took a little nap ski beforehand. I would be afraid. I'd be afraid I'd still be like groggy from a nap. You ever wake up from like a midday nap and you feel more tired than when you went to bed, and like just screws everything up?
I did it today.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, with Larson is like, you could tell me that he was piloting a 747 and I was on that plane and I'd feel completely comfortable. I feel like he can drive anything right now and be successful at it. The guy is the best in the world right now. I mean, I know there's even a debate going on. Is he just the best in America, or is he the best in the world?
I mean,
candidly, I don't know much about racing outside of America, but inside of America right now, I don't think there's a debate.
I saw a tweet, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, this makes a lot of sense, where they're like, I don't think he's the best ever, the best in the world. Like, I don't think there's one best driver, you know? And it kind of makes sense. It's like, oh, I got a perfect 10. Like, there is no perfect 10.
I think he gets in any different type of racing that he can, and he's accelerating and winning.
But the whole point is like there could be some guy driving a late model somewhere that could be better than Larson if he was in the same equipment, and you'll never know. You know, it's like, is a pop star the greatest singer? Is there some person waiting tables that's a better singer that'll just never be discovered? You know, like, you can't say someone's the best.
If they're that good, though, we would know about them.
I think it comes down
to, never know.
Like, I hate GOAT talk. I don't like greatest of all time talks, because I think we have to, as a sports world and community, get rid of greatest of all time talk and get more inclined and used to saying greatest of their era.
Time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's honest to God, like, Larson right now, eras change, drivers change. Like, I heard a lot of talk on Twitter about like people comparing him to AJ Foyt. Yeah. And, you know, like, there are certain guys you can compare him to. But like, is he that guy? No, like you can't say what he would have done if AJ Foyt was in this era of racing. And, someone did say like, you can't compare him to Lewis Hamilton. And like, that was like the only one that was like, really like, I heard a lot of people were getting fired up over that.
I saw that. It was a big controversy. Like, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. But like, my thing is, and that would be like my one thing that I would have to see to call him like Matt saying like the greatest right now, and I could agree with him right now. Step into an Indy car. Look at what Jimmy's trying to do. Like, so you have these people that come from IndyCar and made it in NASCAR. The Tony Stewart, the world. I'll say Danica. She made the leap, and she, she had her races in her time. It's not easy to transition. So like,
no, especially when you're pushed a little quicker than you should be.
She wasn't good by any means, but she held her own.
Right. That's exactly. So I would like to see Larson get in an open wheel Indy F1. See how he does there in a fill-in race too. Let him get into the Rolex 24 and get a little taste of some supercars and some, something that's a little different from what he normally does in the dirt and the sprint and the modifieds and more of a short track feel. I would like to see him in the open wheel. And if he does good in open wheel, then I could check him off as this era's greatest.
Fair
I like
enough.
And he's get in an open wheel too.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And he's still so young too. I mean, he's got his whole career ahead of him. So there's still just a lot of time for that. I agree with you, Eric. It's really hard to say greatest of all time because comparing across different eras, it's not fair to anyone involved. But right now, I personally think he's the best. Not of all time, but right now.
I think the term generational talent is the best option for this.
Sure.
Like, I don't know, just that's my whole point too, though, is like, you never know what's out there that's not being featured. You know what I mean?
Right. Like,
talent's a hard thing to judge when you're not on an equal playing field with everybody, Wow,
that was sophisticated.
I try. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. Speaking of generational talent, Denny Hamlin. I always fuck it up when I say Dennis, trying to be cutesy. Dennis Hamlin. Denny Hamlin officially locked in the playoffs after AJ Allmendinger's win. So no worries there because we can't get 3 new winners. A lot of people were confused with AJ Allmendinger's win, whether he would be playoff eligible. Of course, he is not. His points are declared for the Xfinity Series. He's only running Cup part-time, and he is not in the top 30 in points. So no debate there. One of those talents that, not a lot of people knew about until this past year. One of those guys killing it in the grassroots short track world. One, Josh Berry. He could be the greatest of all time, and we don't know it yet. That's what I'm saying with talent. But Josh Berry running full-time for Junior Motorsports next season in the Xfinity Series, signed it today, all dotted and T's crossed for the number 8 car in 2022. So big congratulations to Josh Berry. Heard an interview with Kelly Earnhardt Miller this afternoon with Dave Moody on SiriusXM, and he says they said so far Josh Berry is signed, and I believe, oh man, who else did they already sign? I think Justin Allgaier. I think Justin Allgaier is already buttoned up for next season, and then they are then they're waiting for Michael Annett, Noah Gragson, and who was running the 8 car now?
Sam Mayer.
And Sam that's who's already signed in. Josh Berry and Sam Mayer are already guaranteed a deal for next season. Sam Mayer, his contract for this season started halfway through this season and extended full time for next season. That was part of the stipulation. So he's been buttoned up for his ride into next year. Josh Berry confirmed. They're still waiting on all the formal arrangements with Justin Allgaier.
Are they going to run a 5-car team next year?
They're as long as everything lines up, they're running a 5-car team next year. And I was surprised. I didn't realize the Xfinity Series, there is no limit to how many cars you can run.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that either.
I learned that today too. Yeah, I had absolutely no idea about that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, unlike the Cup Series where you could only run 4 full-time cars, Xfinity can run as many. So they're looking to retain all 5 drivers.
That's a good
Who's the
stable
sponsor
right
of
there.
it, Barry?
What
Who's
was
the
that, Eric?
sponsor? Who's the
Oh, I don't
sponsor?
think they. I don't
They
think
didn't announce it. They'll announce it
No.
later on.
Because to button up a full-time ride, he had to have gotten
Like a
pretty
full-time
legit
sponsorship.
sponsor.
I bet
Yeah,
you.
he had to
I
have
bet
a
you it's. I bet you it's Tire Pros.
And you want to know what? He might not need a full sponsor either. He might have some money backing him from somebody else that's going to let him run that season too. So a lot of people don't realize how the Xfinity Series works. A lot of those guys are paying to be in those rides. And then they get they work their sponsorship deals. They pay the company, and then the sponsor pays them directly. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure they'll announce a sponsor pretty soon.
Well, Annette's going through that leg issue right now. I wonder if that's going to affect anything, right? Isn't he the one with
Yeah, so he had to have an operation on his leg. I guess he had a fracture in his leg. They operated on. He ran the race at Watkins Glen last week, and then this week, of course, Chase Elliott jumped in for him at the last minute. So I'm not sure what exactly happened with that. Maybe he aggravated it.
up his nails to like have that and run a road course where you're fucking shit.
I
use
couldn't
that clutch.
imagine. That
Must have been hell on his
That's
body.
probably why he backed out at the last second. He probably just realized I can't do this.
Right.
No,
nobody could blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him on that at all either. That's basically all I have for NASCAR news. Like I said, very quiet news week, which means we have more time to talk about this week in NASCAR history. A little new segment that we started last week. I thought this was pretty interesting. I don't know if we'll do it every single week, but I thought this was very interesting. This week in history, we lost Tim Richmond from AIDS. He was first. So his first win in the Cup Series, I thought this was the most interesting part. His first win in the Cup Series was at Riverside in 1982. And then his final win in the Cup Series was at Riverside in 1987. So bookending a career at Riverside in California at the road course. I thought that was really interesting. But he had an 8-season career with 13 wins. A lot of those wins came at Riverside because he was one of the first guys who transitioned from open wheel racing over to NASCAR full time. We were just talking about the transition between open wheel and really judging people coming over there. So I thought it was pretty interesting. He was one of the first guys, and he did really well at road course racing, especially at a time when, like back in the 80s, the drivers just kind of pushed their way through road courses. They were just trying to get as quickly in and out of there unscathed as possible in the points. Unlike today where we have so many road course racing talents, but he was just one of those flamboyant characters in the NASCAR world, completely unlike most of the drivers at the time. They called him Hollywood because he was just the rock star of NASCAR.
He was a party animal.
He was. And unfortunately, the lifestyle kind of caught up with him in the end. The women loved him. He loved racing. He loved partying. And if you ever watched Days of Thunder, Tom Cruise kind of based his character on Tim Richmond. Even his crew chief, Harry Hogg, in the movie was based on Tim Richmond's real life crew chief, Harry Hyde, the legendary Harry Hyde. But yeah, he was definitely an outsider of the sport, not like your typical Southern driver at the time. Unfortunately, like I said, that partying lifestyle caught up to him. He got sick in 1986 in the middle of the 80s. He was doing really well too. People thought he was going to be a future championship contender. He had all the talent in the world, but by 87 he was starting to get sick. He wasn't well enough to run the whole season. In fact, he missed the first half. He picked it up right in the middle and he won at Pocono, and then he followed it up with a win at Riverside. Those were his last 2 wins. I thought that was interesting that his second to last win was at Pocono, our home track. So kind of a home note for us. And then, he had to back out. He tried to make an effort in 88 and get racing again. And this was odd. He failed a drug test. 2 banned substances from NASCAR at the time were Sudafed and Advil. That's what he got popped for. Could you guys believe that? He got popped for Sudafed.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
The only thing I
wouldn't I would take that life and I would take that run of that's you want to talk about living life to the fullest and
Yeah.
just going to the walls and being the man and like we want to talk about eras of his era. Guess what? We're talking about him, legend of the sport. And you know what? I wouldn't mind having a little life like that. You know, you go out, you make the name for yourself and you do it big and you know, see you later.
Live fast, die young, leave a nice corpse.
Right.
But yeah, so basically he failed drug test, couldn't race in 88. And then in 89, he sued NASCAR. He was trying to force his way in, but at that point he was just too sick. There's also another controversy. NASCAR wanted him to release his medical records. He wouldn't do it. There was a lot of rumors with what was going on at the time. He kind of ignored his illness early on. He thought he just had the flu or something, and then it turned into pneumonia. And sure enough, he passed away of AIDS. 10 days after he passed, there was a lot of speculation. His family kind of came out and said, yeah, he had acquired AIDS from an unknown woman. Again, that lifestyle really catching up to him. And then after the death of Tim Richmond, I thought this was interesting. More than 90 drivers and personnel for NASCAR underwent HIV testing just to make sure they were all safe. Definitely a crazy time during the 80s. The AIDS.
Dude, he made his way around the garage.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I bet you there was a lot of scared drivers who were like, oh man, I was hanging out with Tim the night before. I was hanging out with that chick and she was hanging out with him. And oh boy, who knows what kind of stuff they were really getting into behind the scenes back in the 80s. Not like today where everything's documented on Snapchat and Instagram and Twitter. They were living wild lives back in the 80s. But yeah, I just thought that was pretty interesting. He passed away August 13th, 1989. So 22 years this week.
Our sport needs, maybe not to Tim Richmond's level, but our sport needs an all-time hellraiser like that.
Just a big personality, you know, like Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer. You need the Tim Richmond.
No, the sport doesn't need another Jimmy Spencer.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like I could see, we don't really have any of those. I guess the closest you get is like Kyle Busch, but he's not really partying except for when he's on vacation on Instagram, getting chased by resort police and stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, I think in all sports you really don't see that much anymore.
It's because the PR team, they put a stop to everything. Everything gets stopped. Everything gets shut down. I mean, it's today's world of the internet. You said, Whitey, everything's on film. Everything's captured. So every single word you say is going to be criticized and twisted around. So, you know, I agree, Matt. We definitely could use a little bit of, a personality. And, you know, I mean, maybe we'll get, maybe not a personality out of it because they're kind of two very calm individuals, but the Larson versus Christopher Bell thing, you know, like they're friends, race not only on Sundays together, but they race their dirt cars. And, you know, they have a possibility to maybe create something that Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt did back in the day. And, you know, cause a little bit of yeah, I'd be okay with a little bit of fake drama. Come on, sell it. You know what
manufactured. I mean, that's what Gordon and Earnhardt did. It was a manufactured rivalry, and it worked out.
Deal, you know, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
I mean, behind the scenes they were buddies, and they were just letting the fans duel it out in front of them. But if you don't know what we're talking about, I don't know if we really talked about it last week. But during the Watkins Glen race, Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell got into each other. And over the weekend, Christopher Bell kind of called him out because Kyle Larson went on Sirius XM and said, oh, you know, I tried calling Christopher and texted him and apologizing. He didn't answer. If he doesn't want to be an adult about it, like whatever. And then Christopher Bell was basically like, well, I don't appreciate how you went to the media. Like, people send texts and get texts all the time and don't answer about it. Like, you don't have to go running to the media and making drama about it. Huh?
It was midnight that he sent the text to him, too. So Larson sent the text at midnight. Bell saw it the next morning and was like, well, if you want to talk, you'll call me. And, like, I guess like he just never got the call. So
I tell you what.
How many times though do you look at a text message, you read it, acknowledge it, and then just move on with your day? Like you don't ignore it.
All the time.
You don't ignore it, and it's not like you don't answer back to be a dick. It's just you acknowledge it and move on with your life.
Right. Sometimes it's just like, like, I mean, you're invested in something, you're doing something.
Middle of something.
Like,
That reminds.
It's the focus thing, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just your focus in today's busy world. It's just like I'll get back to it, and you just don't.
Yep.
That reminds me. Eric texted me on Tuesday. Charlie Crockett, The Valley, great song. I really enjoyed it. So thanks for sending that one over.
Yeah.
I never responded.
It was like 12 days after he texted me a song.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, I didn't know. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna text Whitey this song. And I go to my text. Oh, I have a missed message from Whitey. It was from like 12 days earlier. I go,
oh yeah.
Oh,
but again, you want to why? Because I sent that on a Friday night at 11 o'clock because I was a little tuned up listening to crazy music. If you if you're looking for a crazy song, so Donnie Osmond and Marie, or Donnie and Marie Osmond, right? They're like this corny fucking group back in the day. But the Osmond brothers have this badass album called Crazy Horses. If you're looking for something, it's just mind blowing how heavy it is. Awesome. It sounds like an old Deep Purple song or something like that. It's a really cool song. I can't believe it was the Osmond brothers. But I sent it to Eric. I'm like, you got to check this shit out.
It was badass.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But let's jump into the race weekend. That was NASCAR history for this week. And
here we go.
Our music suggestions for the week too. The Xfinity Series race, it was a good one. Austin Cindric walking away with another road course win. No shocker there. I watched a little bit. I saw the beginning. I saw some guys getting airborne on a turtle. Apparently that would be the story from the weekend for all the series. Did you guys watch the Xfinity Series race?
A couple laps, wasn't fully invested.
Yeah, I listened to a little bit in the shower on Sirius XM radio, getting ready to go out. We went to Scoreboard. Eric, I know you're familiar with that. Great little sports bar down where I'm living, and got to watch I had the TV right in front of me. I had them put it on right there, and I got to watch the last probably 15 or 20 laps. Silent, but I at least got to watch it.
Yeah, and then Sunday, the Dinger, the Xfinity Series regular, pulling off the upset win in Indy. But there was tons of controversy, a lot of red flags, a lot of yellow flags.
Controversy? When?
We'll get into it. We had 6 caution flags for 25 laps, 2 red flags, 13 lead changes among 11 drivers. Your top 10 was, of course, AJ Allmendinger, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott. No shocker there in that lineup there. Matt DiBenedetto, Kurt Busch. Here's where things start to get a little wild. Eric Jones, Daytona Ron's driver, getting his first top 10 and his best finish of a 7th place finish for Richard Petty Motorsports. Justin Haley, he's a College Racing teammate of AJ Allmendinger. I think he's running for Spire yesterday. Austin Cindric, he was the winner of the road course the day before. He got himself a 9th place finish. And Ryan Newman, a name we haven't really talked about besides possible retirement rumors, he got himself a 10th place finish. That's because, well, most of the field got destroyed. 2 big ones on a road course. I thought we were at Daytona. I was getting confused. Everyone, carnage everywhere. But do you guys want to break it down and talk about it in our race grades?
Yeah, I mean, we can get into it if you want to. I know we've been jovial up until this point, trying to kind of ignore the elephant in the room from yesterday. But here we are again, another black eye for NASCAR, an embarrassment. There's just no way around it again. I was hoping that after New Hampshire, we wouldn't have to, we'd go into the Olympic break. We'd come back to Watkins Glen and not have to talk about bullshit like this. But
yeah, here
we are again. I guess, like you said, if you want to go into the race grades, my race went from an A+ to an F faster than Ricky Stenhouse wrecked his car on the first lap of the race back from the pandemic at Darlington
last year.
Remember that the first corner he wrecked his car? Yeah. Yeah. My race went from an A+ to an F faster than that. And it sucks. again, just like New Hampshire was a great race. And here we are again. You know, the racing was insanely great. We were texting, all three of us were texting back and forth. Like, we couldn't believe what we were watching.
Yeah.
The track itself forced these guys to race super hard, just the way it was configured. And even like the end of the stages where you had the RCR boys battling it out for points, and you had the Hendrick boys in 10th and 11th battling it out for a point too.
That
just
was a great battle at the end of stage 2 there.
It was a great battle, and just all throughout the race you had it. And then the last 4 laps happened, and all hell broke loose, and it ruined the race again. You know, it just ruined the race. And then overtime was so much fun, but at that point I had a bad taste in my mouth. You know, so I don't know. How about you guys?
I'll step up next here, and my race grade was an A+.
Mm-hmm.
I talked heavily about how Watkins Glen was my favorite road course, and how that race, you know, got a great grade for me. I gave that one an A, and I look forward to Watkins. And I, you know, said about how great about Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
The first quarter of this race, it blew me out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it absolutely had me on the edge. Every emotion I think I went through, you know, at first I was optimistic. What's this race going to be like? You know, I don't want to really, you know, go into it with any kind of expectation.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I get surprised. I'm like, oh man, this is some
really
good
good
race going on. Okay. I like this. They're going through this fast. They're really flying through these turns, and the battling going on was intense. And then all of a sudden I got the chills. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. The battles you're talking about. And Whitey, you helped being a Reddick fan. And when you have fans and friends that are fans, you root for them.
You invested in other drivers. Yeah.
Other drivers to the field. So I'm not just watching the front. I'm watching the mid. I'm watching the stage point battle, the playoff battle. Everything was all coming together to produce great racing.
Oh yeah.
And it was working. All those emotions, everything was great. At one point in time, I was yelling at the TV.
Huh?
How do you not watch sports? If you don't watch sports, what the fuck do you do with your life? I'm going, how don't you like this? You go from being surprised, shocked, happy, chills, mad, angry. It's like that's what sports brings out of you.
Yeah.
It brings that out of you.
All the different emotions.
So to me, even though the bullshit happened, I got to bring it down to, it's still an A for me. I can't change my grade.
Nice. Okay.
I look at it as a whole. All the bullshit that goes on, that's just part of NASCAR now. I can't let that determine my race grade, because it happens all the goddamn time with this bullshit. So you got to just take it as it is. And the racing was awesome. Even me and my girlfriend, we were sitting on the couch, and both of us were yelling at the TV at one point in time. She's a Kyle Larson fan. And like, you know, she even said, like, the emotion, she goes, oh my God, the chills. I'm like, it gave everybody what they wanted out of that. And the reason I keep it an A is because, yes, is it an embarrassment on the sport? It is for sure an embarrassment. They keep fucking up. But guess what? Everyone's used to fucking up. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna overlook that and say, you know what? The fuck up on NASCAR is bad. But for us,
the entertainment value, everyone wants to know what we want, you know, what we think about what happened. So guess what a race like that does? Yeah.
Channel you to us, tell you how we feel. So I'm leaving it as an A. Overall entertainment value was through the roof.
You know what, Eric, and that you make a good point. I said for the first 24 weeks of the season that I'm going to keep my emotions out of the grades. I'm not going to be biased, and I've let my emotions get the best of me these last couple of weeks. And you're right, from a pure entertainment standpoint of it. Yeah, that's why I had it as an A+. You know, it was wild, and it's given us a lot to talk about here today. So honestly, I just want to kind of make that Ricky. I just kind of want to make that Ricky Stenhouse joke.
But up until that curve, it was solid. 97% of that race.
It was awesome. It was awesome. It was awesome. And we like I said in my race grade, we all talked about it the whole time. That was an awesome race.
It was.
And
it was so fun.
she just had some bad shit happen. That the silver lining, and I know we're going to get into something like this a little bit later in the show, but NASCAR is going to fix all these problems. I have a feeling for next year.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling the schedule isn't going to change an ounce for next year.
Yeah.
That's just me with a hunch.
And you want to know what? I wanted to make that point too. The reason why we keep going through this, where there's like issues like at COTA and at Indy Road Course and stuff like that, is because the first time in a long time, NASCAR is trying new things. Yeah. They are thinking outside the box. They're taking risks, and sometimes the risks work out and sometimes the risks don't. I don't even think you could blame NASCAR for what happened yesterday.
Agreed.
Is it an embarrassment? Yeah, kind of. Was it their fault? Could they see it happening? I don't think so. I gave it before the chaos. I gave it an A, just like all of you guys. It was a great road course race, possibly better than Watkins Glen, and I loved Watkins Glen. I enjoyed this one.
I think that was the shocking part for me. Was my favorite road course came and went. Okay, fine. I was a little pissed we're going back-to-back road courses. And then within the first 20 laps, I'm like, holy shit, did it change my mind?
No, I agree. I was really mad we were doing back-to-back road courses because, like I've said in the past, I'm not a huge fan of road courses. They've grown on me a lot this year, but like I don't want to get overloaded too, Like I'm not looking forward to the Roval in the playoffs. I'm like, oh, we had so many road courses already.
I am. I can't wait for it.
See, now I am. Yeah. I wasn't. I wasn't. I agree with you, but now, holy shit, bring it on.
Especially as a cutoff race.
But after the carnage, there's no doubt about it. We looked like a joke,
Yes.
But at the same time, who knows what really happened? Could have when that first splitter went under there and those guys lifting it up, could that have messed something up with the integrity?
Yes.
And that's what caused it later on.
It had to have.
And like I'll get into that's part of my later on in the episode, but right there, Whitey, you nailed it. That was definitely a factor.
But at the same time, who foresaw someone's splitter getting stuck under it and messing with it anyways?
An entire splitter like that.
Yeah. Which is insane.
It was actually comical when they pulled it out and then they just kept pulling it out.
You only saw like a good, like maybe arm length piece of metal sticking up. And then they slid it out and there's a whole like front end sized piece of metal underneath. And you're like, holy shit. And then later on, I saw on Instagram, someone got Austin Dillon's splitter and got to take it home, which I thought was pretty cool. What a souvenir for being at Indy. But
see, my thing with that whole thing is, if a curb ripped an entire splitter off of a race car, you mean to tell me that it's not going to do that again?
Yeah.
You're just going to take the splitter out and not do anything else. It's going to stay the same. Now, that whole splitter that was underneath the turtle that you didn't see, that might have sliced and sheared away some of those bolts holding it down.
And stuff. Yeah.
The guys with the pry bars, prying it up.
Lifting
you
it
don't
up.
Tell me that cause a little burr, a little bit of a malfunctioning, a little bit of, they transform the shape of it so that it's not flush with the racetrack anymore.
Yeah.
Like right then and there. And this is why I do blame NASCAR.
Yeah.
Right then and there. A whole splitter ripped off and got stuck under there. It's not going to happen again when you pull it out. There's got to be a gap there. Remove the whole thing right then and there.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. It was already a problem, a whole entire splitter. It's not like, oh, someone hit it and it chipped the fucking corner out because it caught a weird angle.
Yeah.
No, a whole entire splitter not only had to get sheared from the race car, but what did that force do to cause that to shear off and stay in the turtle?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So something in that thing had to have broken in the turtle, and like right then and there, they should have taken it out or at least examined it a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Like I never understood this. Now I might be going on a tangent here, but I think it's weird. Every time I see something like this happen at a racetrack, they're always in like an EMS truck and they come out in medical gear. Who are these fucking guys in like, do they know anything about the racetrack? Who are these guys they have sent out there to fix it?
Are they engineers? I don't know.
One guy was in Dockers and like they sent the president out with a fucking broom in his hand.
Which I thought was a fucking joke. Can I tell you how bad I was at? That was such a like.
You fucked up. You
Yeah.
fucked up as the track. You fucked up as NASCAR. Fuck you.
Yeah. When the track
That's funny.
president came out, like people were cheering, like, "Oh yeah, he's getting his arms dirty and stuff." I'm like, "You're pushing a broom around. Like, what the fuck are you doing?"
He wasn't doing anything. That was a show right
yeah,
there.
that was
show.
optics to make him look like, "Oh, I'm trying to get the show back on." Like, go back into your office. Like that stuff like drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I
mean, now you can't. I'm not gonna put it all on NASCAR because like at a certain point it happened in the IndyCar race, it happened in the Xfinity race. But another thing in NASCAR, and like they might have thought about it, but like if it happened in the IndyCar, it happened in the Xfinity. Now it wasn't the same curb. I know some people hit that straight on ramp one.
Yeah.
But even if they hit the straight on ramp one, do something about it.
Yeah.
It happened in 2 prior races before the cup went green. Do something about it.
Well,
you know, I don't know, man.
See, but
they should have taken that whole thing out. The fucking launch pad and the turtle. They should have taken it all out and said if they go in the grass, then they go in the grass.
Well, so
And
here's
it's a penalty. Penalty's a penalty. Race through there. It's quick. It's such a quick boom, boom, shoot through there. I don't think it would have been a problem if those curves weren't there.
Well,
agreed.
So here's the reasoning for those curbs and for those launch pads, especially the one in the Xfinity Series race. The way that Indy's road course is paved, those side parts are just regular concrete. Those aren't supposed to be used as racing surfaces. They're not as strong as the asphalt in the center. And that's why they put those turtles there going sideways to keep people off of it, because they were worried about the integrity of the concrete underneath and it possibly breaking apart or anything like that. Like,
so they put a launch pad on the racing, or not? I guess it's technically.
Well, it's not the
on
racing surface, and that's what was going to come up to my next point. How much are you going to let drivers take advantage of cutting the racing surface down? That's why we have the yellow line rule at Talladega and Daytona. They say, no, let them race right down to the grass. Well, this is what we see when you let them race wherever they want. You know, this is the kind of accidents that could happen. You're not supposed to jump off of turtles. You're not supposed to be hitting the turtles like that. They just figured it out. It gave them a speed advantage, and they were taking advantage of it.
Jimmy Johnson did it. Jimmy Johnson did it in the IndyCar, and he was like pumped about it.
Yeah,
because he came from a series back in the day where he was jumping trucks when he was racing trucks. Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, when can you blame NASCAR for having poor design, or when can you blame the drivers for deteriorating the integrity of a piece of the track? You know, like
but
here's a piece of a track that you know is going to be used and race cars are going to be racing. They know that drivers go over those turtles. It happens at every goddamn fucking road course in any series. They go over those
that's
turtles.
why they put that weird side one that Michael McDowell hit.
Build a whole fucking wall then if you don't want to go there.
Okay, so that's what I was going to say.
Instead of smashing in the fucking wall, then you'll teach them.
Well, you gotta have some runoff,
The turtle, because they want the cars to go over the turtle.
Yeah,
it's designed for the tire to go over it. That one fucked it up when that first splitter got cut off.
I mean,
take it out. The splitter goes and put tires there. Put a fucking tire barrier there.
Yeah.
Yep. They won't hit it. They'll slow down. They'll let off. They won't race 2 or 3 wide like they were racing.
Exactly. If you have a big thing there, they won't race that hard towards there.
Nope.
Yeah.
So you give them a curve, they will. So who's in charge of that? NASCAR.
Well, no, that'd be Indy. That'd be the Indy road course. It's that president with his broom.
IMS and NASCAR.
Roger Penske. Get Roger Penske on the line.
If the NASCAR series is racing at your racetrack, I'm sorry. NASCAR has to do everything that they can, and it's their job to make sure that the racetracks that their series is running at is up to NASCAR's code.
Yeah.
And up to NASCAR, they have to say, okay, we can race here. This is all because look at right now. This is coming down to like a NASCAR issue.
Mm-hmm.
This is this series we're in, and you're going to go to that racetrack and allow that to happen. some of it is going to have to come back on you.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we're talking about this being a NASCAR problem and not an IMS problem. Not, you know what I mean, for Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is a black eye on NASCAR. It's not a black eye for Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They're going to carry on business as usual, but NASCAR is the one who has to deal with all this bad press.
Yeah, but it was Indy's Turtles. It's Indy's course. They put them there.
Right. So, okay. So if that's Indy's turtle, then NASCAR, bring your own turtles then, motherfucker. If you don't like that turtle, bring your own turtle then. So then there's no excuse involved.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. I don't know. I understand. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here,
I don't know.
The NASCAR Cup Series and, the ultimate fall's got to come back on them.
Yeah.
You could blame the little things here and there, IMS and this and that. And they had every opportunity. Once a whole splitter gets ripped off a car, I'm sorry, that's a problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For me.
But
I would think, okay, let's try to get rid of this. And it happened again. You know what I mean? And
that's the thing. How did it happen in the first place? No, I get it. I get it. I don't know. Anyways, my race grade went from an A to a D. It's like we're going out on a Friday night, you have a great night, and then your buddy starts a fight before last call. It just puts a damper on the whole thing, It ruins all the good.
I've been there.
I know. I wasn't gonna say you specifically, but you were who I was thinking of when I wrote that analogy.
Fellas, my bad. I've been there.
Yeah, but you want to know what? But that's the thing. That's the thing. You can't hold it against you, and you go back next year and you see what happens.
Yeah, and you learn for next time. Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah.
Like maybe if Eric's been drinking Rumpelmans the whole night and he starts pointing at someone's face, you try to distract them like, hey Eric, you want to go play some darts? Before he punches them in the face. But yeah, that was my race grade. You guys want to get into the checkers and wreckers? I'm sure we probably covered a little bit of the wreckers portion already, but we'll get into it. Eric, what was your checkers and wreckers?
All right, so my checkers goes to Denny Hamlin. For the way he handled that post race. I'm sure once he got out of that car, he knew every microphone, every camera was going to be on him as soon as he got out of that car. And they followed him all the way. Everyone knew he was going to walk to Chase's car. Everyone knew that.
So to cut you off real quick, in case you missed the race, near the end, Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin were battling it out with 2 to go in a green-white checker overtime. Chase Briscoe got pushed into the lawn, cut the lawn, came back onto the road course, had a penalty. It's not, and no one's sure if it was relayed to him at that point. And then he accidentally got into the back, who knows, got into the back of Denny, spun Denny out. They both got taken out of the race. And then there was some words after the race.
Yeah, I just think Denny was it was all class. He's been there. He's a veteran.
Yeah.
I think if that's anybody else and not a rookie in Chase Briscoe, it's a different situation.
Then he's handling some more accountability on them.
I also think that, Denny finds out after that race, even after that, he's locked in. I think that also has an effect on how he eases it a little bit for sure. I just thought that was just, that's sportsmanship. That's just trying to talk about it. Like we talked about the Larson and Bell thing. Talk about it, get it in, figure it out. Like emotions are high and we all want to see a little scuffle and a little emotion come out. But, I was just very impressed by Denny Hamlin and the way that, he did go about that post-race interview because he doesn't have to win. He could have used that win for sure. And, I expected a little bit more emotion out of him. And, I just thought that was very veteran move from Denny Hamlin there.
It was a leader move. He's one of the leaders of our sport now.
Yeah.
He is. And for him to do that, like you said, Eric, I mean, to get out of the car and to gather himself. And he even said in his in the interview directly after he talked to Chase Briscoe was, I've been racing this guy for a year. I know that probably wasn't malicious, but I just needed to know his side of it. I just needed to see.
I have the audio clip if you guys want to hear both of their interviews.
Yeah.
All right, this is from the morning drive this morning. Mike Bagley.
Out. Then I shoved him to the right, and then the 14 cut the track and took the lead for this second there. And I don't know. I thought we were probably in good shape there, but I mean, this just turns everything upside down.
You have to think about what Chase said to you, or do you feel like his explanation is something you can accept and deal with?
No, I mean, I can accept it. I mean, I've the roles have been reversed other times, right? I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and I've been on the giving end of a mistake, so I get it. To me, it's just a lack of situational awareness of, like, obviously you're going to have a penalty if you cut the racetrack like you did. So, I'm not like furious over them. It's just, it sucks. It obviously turned our day upside down.
Chase Briscoe provides his perspective after finishing in 26th.
Yeah, no, obviously there at the restart, everybody is trying to outbreak each other and getting into one. We all kind of missed it to a certain extent. And, I was getting ran wide. I had nowhere else to go, so I knew I was going to go through the grass. It was just a matter of, hey, do you go through here slow, or do you just gas it wide open and hope it gets through it? And, I don't know if there would have been a penalty if I went through there slow, but, to me, that was my only chance to win the race at that point. So I just went for that and, stayed on him tight and knew the 16 was right behind me. And obviously he's been fast. He's on newer tires. And, a lot of guys have just been getting lazy into that 10. They would swing it out wide and then they'd leave the bottom wide open. So I was kind of all over him in the S's. And when I went to gas it and turned underneath him, I just clipped him in the right rear. And he was already kind of trying to get back to the left to swing in. So I just turned him around. But unfortunate, obviously for them, they were probably going to win the race if the 16 didn't get to them. And, for us, we got a penalty, and I don't even know where we finished. So frustrating, that close. You sit there and you can taste it, and you can sit there and imagine what it's going to be like, and then it gets taken away. So I don't know. A lot to be proud of, though. Felt like I showed that I belong here and get another chance next year. I know.
That was the words from both drivers involved in the incident yesterday.
I think the thing that stood out to me most between both of them was when Denny said, "I've been on both ends of this. I've been the aggressor in this before. I've been the one who spun him out."
Yeah.
Do you know what that's called, Joey Logano? It's called ownership.
Yeah.
It's called, you know what I mean? And you know what? He just won me over there. I was always, just very indifferent about Denny pretty much his whole career. I've never disliked him and I've never liked him. He's just always been an indifferent person to me. And just by him just admitting to that and owning that, he won me over. That was really impressive. Because I'm assuming that was MRN interviewing him and not the TV interview.
Yeah.
Because the TV interview was a little different, so I didn't hear that portion of it until just now. But that's what stood out to me there.
I mean, to go right into this, my records goes to Chase Briscoe.
Yeah.
And Chase Briscoe's team, Chase Briscoe's crew chief, his spotter, that whole ordeal was just a mess. It was a mess. It honest to God was a mess. And, my whole thing is coming into turn one, everybody overdrove that turn. Everybody decided as a group of cars, I'm braking late because you're going to try to get the advantage. So everybody tried to brake late. They drove into that turn way too deep.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was A.J. Allmendinger, who was behind Briscoe and Denny, decided to make it 3 wide to the inside.
Yeah.
So in all reality, A.J. Allmendinger, he's the one that
the kind of blame. Yeah.
Right. A.J. Allmendinger gave Denny no room to Denny's inside to give Briscoe any room to Denny's outside.
Yeah.
So A.J. Allmendinger kind of forced both of them down and forced Briscoe into the grass.
Yeah.
Now, the problem I have with Briscoe is you just cut an entire corner out of a racetrack.
Yeah.
Now,
that's the obvious thing.
As a professional driver, right as soon
a penalty's coming.
You know a penalty's coming.
Yeah.
And he knew a penalty was coming because he admitted when he got back on the racetrack.
He drove slow, yeah.
He drove slow. He gave that thing. So he knew, even if I went slow, he knew there was a penalty. So you knew right off the bat, don't touch Denny Hamlin.
Well,
and my girlfriend goes,
yeah.
Oh my God, like penalty. And I go, yeah, for sure he's going to get a penalty there. He just cut half the racetrack. She goes, oh yeah, like he cut off like he literally just went in front of like 12 other cars and came out in first.
Yeah.
She noticed that, So for her to notice that and be like, that's a penalty. And I remember her bringing that up and I go, oh, that's for sure a penalty.
Yeah.
And literally, as soon as I get done saying that's a penalty, boop, popped up. And I go, Dana, see, there it goes. He got penalized. And I will admit, it was within a fucking snap of my fingers that I said, look, Dana, he got penalized. A snap of my fingers, he took out Denny. But he knew cutting that corner as a professional race car driver going to result in a penalty no matter what.
Yeah.
He still touched the leader that was running that race. You know?
I knew it playing video games on a road course. If I cut it, I'm gonna get penalized. I'm gonna have to stop. You know,
all of that, and like on top of all of that, how does the TV broadcast and myself know there's a penalty before the driver knows there's a penalty?
Right.
And
there's something.
How?
And so
how did I know before Chase Briscoe, the driver, who got the penalty? How the hell does it take that long to get to him?
Well, NASCAR is looking into it. They've been
investigating. They're looking.
No, they are legitimately investigating all of the radio communication to see when it was relayed to him that there was a penalty. Now, if his team decided to wait and not tell him, does that take some of the onus off of Chase Briscoe?
I'll get my respect back from Chase Briscoe.
Yeah.
I will, because right now it seems like this is an excuse. He's putting on face to get
on the team.
This.
Now, if it comes out like that and the team is the one, and as a driver, do you keep pushing as hard as possible? Until you get told? Even though in your mind, you know you committed a penalty.
That's right. No. See, like, I think he should have known this is a penalty. My race, I had a good race. I fucked up. I'm a rookie. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, even if he wins, what's he doing in the playoffs? We talked about this before.
No, I know. And that's the thing. Here's
your mind is Chase Briscoe. You got to think that I ain't going to do fucking jack shit.
Yeah, no.
I'm Ware racing right now, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not doing nothing right now.
Well, I can tell you.
Racist fuck, I'm out of here.
I can tell you what.
In the moment, I could see Chase Briscoe not thinking that.
Yeah.
I could see him in the moment not thinking that.
Chase Briscoe's thinking about getting his first win at the Indy road course. He's racing in Tony Stewart's number, his icon as a kid, and he just wants to get a win in his home state.
Anybody for a win, but like you break everybody, the whole entire race going into that turn, and then you like, come on.
No, I know.
You help people race that.
I said it to you guys yesterday. I forget I saw it on Twitter. Someone made a really, really good point that we're in 2021, like the technical golden age right now of technology. And they have these beautiful digital dashes directly in front of their eyeballs. Why can't the second NASCAR deems that something's a penalty or that there's a caution on the track, why can't there something flash on there? Or scroll across their digital dash, alerting them, letting them know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think that there should be something implemented along those lines, because why not? When I can send a text to you guys and you guys can get it literally instantaneously, why can't they, send out an alert to the car and it comes right across?
Halfway through that grass, are the officials not watching this on TV? Do they not see it? The minute he goes through the grass and cuts that corner,
pass the penalty.
Tell the crew penalty.
You don't even have to think about it.
You don't have to think about it. And he did think about it, though, because he gave Denny the lead back, thinking that it was going to be better. He thought about slowing down through the grass. Maybe it's not a penalty. Yeah, guess what, asshole? If you did slow down through the grass, you'd be in 16th or 18th fucking place.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me you weren't going to get a penalty?
No, I get it. I get the frustration. I'm just saying, as a driver, if I'm not relayed that I'm getting a penalty, I'm going to keep racing as hard as possible for that win, So I put, if it comes out, the NASCAR investigation comes out that he did, in fact, have, late team communication, and it was too late, before he got into the back of Denny.
Back to my point of, like, when a Timmy Hill or an Anthony Alfredo stays out on old tires to take the lead at the end of a race and thinks they're going to win, and then spins his tires on the restart and causes a jam up and takes out 14 fucking cars.
Yeah.
That, to me, is the same thing as what Briscoe was going to do. Like, yes, Briscoe, you're looking for your first win. You could get to the playoffs, but honest to God, what do you, like, to me, it's like a just really, really. It's just like one of those things. Like really, like you think that like
No, I get it.
you're gonna think it sucked. I just thought that the whole last 4 laps sucked because
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing racing, electric, absolutely electric.
Yeah.
I was on the edge of my couch the whole entire time watching that race, and that had to happen. It was just so disappointing.
Oh, I get it. I mean, we'll get into my watching of the race soon. Matt, you want to give me your checkers and wreckers for the weekend?
Yes, I do. So I feel like I was a jinx machine yesterday.
You 100% were. 100%.
So I'll get into this a little bit. So first I told Whitey for fantasy reasons that I hoped something happened to Briscoe to take him out of contention. And
He goes, I hope he hits a brick wall.
Yeah, way before the whole debacle of the race happened, Chase Briscoe did have some issues where it did at that point in the race.
He cut a tire. He cut a tire on that fucking
cut a tire. That's right.
On
that's
that
right.
turn.
So I was a jinx there, and then what did I say? I said Larson's gonna walk away with this one. This race is over.
Yep,
and then
that
the
didn't
caution
happen.
then the caution comes out that breeded the whole debacle at the end.
Yeah.
And so before that happened, I jinxed the race again, and I didn't even tell you guys this. Before that happened, and I kept it as my checkers, just as almost like a joke. My checkers was the road course itself because it was producing such good racing.
Yeah.
Oops.
Also,
So I mean, before that whole mess of a curb situation, I thought the race itself, the Indy road course itself, rather, produced unbelievable racing, and I made it my checkers, and then everything happened, and because I jinxed everything else, I just said, I'll just keep it in there for a joke.
Not only that, but you jinxed the road course itself in another way, because I got to pull up the correct wording here. I want to make sure I have it right. But before, when that first
and send it to us.
I did. When that
screenshotted scenarios.
Yeah.
When
you're
that,
like, stop jinxing everything, Matt.
When that when that first splitter got stuck underneath there, you guys are talking about the strength of the LDT anchors holding in the turtles.
Large diameter Tapcons.
Eric goes, can't believe they pulled that whole thing out of that turtle. Whatever bolts are holding that turtle down are impressive. Wow. Didn't that whole thing just rip up? Or no, how didn't that whole thing just rip up?
Yeah.
And then Matt goes, that was my thought, Eric. Those are some big ass LDT anchors. So you both jinxed it. You both were like, oh my God, what a strong turtle. What strong bolts. Well, guess what? It didn't work out in the long run.
It didn't.
Ended up annihilated by that splitter probably. And then next thing you know, we have what we have.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah, my wreckers go. First of all, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to the whole NASCAR community as a whole that I jinxed everything, and then we had that debacle at the end there. My wreckers goes to, once again, Chase Elliott's pit crew. They won the whatever it was, $1 million or $100,000 at the All-Star race for the crew, the pit crew challenge.
Fastest pit crew.
And then I think their heads got a little too big, and I think they got a little cocky. And since then, they've been doing nothing but shooting themselves in the foot. And
what happened with that Jack?
Yeah, man, I watched it live. Like when he pulled in, they had the camera on him and like 2 other cars, like they usually do. And of course, I was watching Chase. And they came back over to the closest side of the wall. They're on the second. They're on like the like it would have been the right side tires, and the Jackman let it down too early, and I saw it happen. And of course, I'm just yelling no, this can't be happening, because he was racing top 3. He was up there with his teammates, with Byron and Larson, and they were getting him out of pit road fast the whole race. So I thought, if they can get him out even just a second, he's going to have a shot at the win here. Obviously, again, this was before the whole debacle happened with the turtles. But that sent him, he came in 3rd, and I think he came out like 12th or 13th or 14th out of the pits.
Yeah.
So I guess in the end, it kind of worked out for him, because when the whole turtle debacle happened, he was further in the pack. So it might have saved his race ultimately. But I mean, they've got to get that tightened up and buttoned up before the playoffs comes around, because they can't be doing this during the playoffs. Last year, you know, the same crew chief, or the same Jackman who screwed up yesterday is the same one that pretty much saved them in Martinsville last year by retagging the wall. So hopefully they're learning from their mistakes. They're getting it out of the way now, and then come playoff season, they'll be ready to rock and roll. But it's concerning, to say the least, as a number 9 fan.
I tell you what, I was just impressed that Chase Elliott, when the car dropped in, immediately tried to take off.
He didn't take off. He knew it was too early.
Yeah.
They said that during the broadcast, that was impressive, that he had the wherewithal to know not to go yet.
Absolutely. And I always wonder too, like, when they drop a car like that or something, like how do they, I don't know, like, cause I know they have the jack underneath there, but like sometimes like the jack stand gets broken and stuff. And like, I always wonder, like, how do they get it lifted back up after like a malfunction like that? Also,
I don't know. I guess we should probably know this, being as though we were in the pits at Pocono and, you know, a million times before in my life.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they have a backup jack there.
I don't know.
I honestly, that's something I feel like we should know.
They probably do, that they could throw over the wall real quick.
Right.
And also I was surprised that just the wheel well coming down straight on the edge of that tire like that didn't compromise the tire too.
Yeah.
He got really lucky with that whole thing. Because like even just leaving, he could have left with like a cut tire, a leaking tire. So he really did get lucky. I thought that was pretty.
Sorry, go ahead.
I thought it was pretty funny though that the guy that made the epic save to keep him in the playoffs last season is the one that dropped the car this season. It just goes to show you have good days, you have bad days. You know, they can't all be winners. You know.
Yep, absolutely. So those were my checkers and wreckers, but I'm looking forward to moving on to Michigan, and then, oh God, that Daytona race. I just can't wait. But what are you going to do?
All right. Well, I'm going to give you my wreckers. That's what I'm going to do. My wreckers for the weekend, I'm going to give it first. Michael McDowell, after a long red flag caution, you know, they pull up that curbing. They have the teams go around how many times around the track, because James Davison or someone was leaking oil and they had to put down Speedy Dry and all that stuff. How many times did Michael McDowell go through that corner and see that jump barrier thing, and still somehow on the restart, Mick Driver hits it and causes the second big one? As it was,
I told you guys that too. I can look at the text and tell you, like I said, they're gonna do it again.
Oh yeah,
they're keeping that launch pad there. Somebody's gonna hit it again.
But how?
He hit the regular curbing though. He didn't hit the launch pad. He
No.
hit the regular curb.
No, McDowell hit the curb. Yeah, that
was
was
the
the second
second
red flag. McDowell hit the launch pad after they took the curb out. Yeah, so it all happened as Bubba Wallace overshot the turn.
Yeah.
They happened at the same time. Bubba overshot. McDowell hit the launch pad. Like McDowell started sliding out as Bubba came back on track, and then like McDowell turned and fucking
Austin Dillon got collected.
Austin Dillon got into it. I'm pretty sure Martin Truex Jr. got into the back of McDowell and wrecked his car. Reddick got into the back of Truex. Like, it was a big old mess because Michael McDowell hit that curb like after they already went through and showed and then said like, hey, don't cut this curb. This is still here.
How come I think that was before they took the curb? I think he hit the normal.
No, it was after,
because
the
first wreck was when Willie B went
William
spinning
Byron
and Logano hit the tires, and that was the long red flag. It was long because they took the curb out, and then as soon as they got back to racing, the first or second time through there, it must have been the first time through there. Yeah. After that long red flag, it was the first time through there after the red flag. Yeah, McDowell hit the freaking launch pad and
I thought McDowell still hit the regular curbing. I thought he hit
that launch pad. I
remember being like, Bubba, what do you
want to? Well, yeah, because I think you were paying it. I think because of our text messages, you were paying attention to Bubba because you're like, how the hell do you overshoot that turn after that?
Right,
and as
right.
Bubba was overshooting the turn and cutting over into the grass, that's when McDriver hit the launch pad and went off. So they were side by side, and that's what caused that whole second accident. It wasn't Bubba cutting through. He made it through just fine. I think he had a like an 11th place finish or something like that. McDriver spun out and Truex got into the back of him, tore up a whole bunch of other cars, caused the second big one. So he's my wreckers. And kind of my checkers because he did take out Austin Dillon. My checkers, though, and I'm biased this week, but man, I got to look at all the positives I can after that race. Tyler Reddick's crew chief, Randall Burnett, and the crew, after McDowell pulled the Dukes of Hazzards and wrecked half the field after the first red flag, he was smoking like a mother. He was smoking like a 1970s pregnant mother, which you shouldn't be doing. I thought his day was done. The front of his car was smashed in. He was burning oil. I was listening to the scanner. They're all freaking out. He was like, we're done. I got no power steering. I'm on fire, basically. They got him onto the pit road before the red flag got called. The crew, he had a broken oil cooler, bypassed it right quick before the red flag dropped, ripped that hood off, got him back on track before the red flag. Just an amazing stop. And it saved his day when it came to playoff points, because if he got taken out, he was 10 spots behind Austin Dillon at the time. And Austin Dillon would have made up a lot of ground in the playoff cutoff race that they got going on. Thankfully, he was able to gain 12 more points, and he's sitting 28 points to the good. That is the best part of the race for me yesterday. I was losing my mind.
I loved it because I had texted Whitey earlier in the race, and I was busting his balls and said, "Oh, this is where Tyler Reddick gets a speeding penalty."
Oh,
said,
yeah.
Wait,
I thought it really did.
I'm on delay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't hear anything on the scanner.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm just busting.
I would have loved to be a fly on Whitey's wall during that race. I mean, it's awesome when you do have, a buddy and a friend and like, someone that's involved on that cutoff line, dude. Like I've been there, and it's so nerve wracking watching the races when it's like that.
Yes, it
so
is.
nerve wracking, especially since yesterday, Reddick got 2 stage wins, of course, because everyone's pitting for different strategies and stuff. Austin Dillon right behind him, picking up second place for those stages. He only gained 2 points by staying out, and then it kind of screwed him for trying to go for a win in the end. I don't think he had a fast enough car. I think he had about a top 15 car. But what happened too, during the first red flag, he had a tire cut, and he went into a closed pits. So that pushed him further back. Him, Anthony Alfredo, a bunch of guys, Austin Cindric, a bunch of guys got busted for entering a closed pit before that first red flag. That pushed him further back. Austin Dillon made up some ground, and I'm just thinking like, oh man, there goes that points advantage. Austin's going to finish higher than us and really, start coming in and taking away and denting in some of those points. So thankfully Austin Dillon's day ended because of Michael McDowell, but at the same time, you hate to see it.
Full circle. McDowell thing went full circle.
Oh, yeah.
Records helped you anyway.
Wreckers and checkers, baby. That's what it's all about. Also, what it's all about, I feel like that's about all we had left to talk about. Besides, who came in last place? We already told you, we alluded to you. Anthony Alfredo with his second last place finish of the season here on the Bump and Run podcast. Everyone talks about the winner. We talked about him, AJ Allmendinger, Xfinity Series regular, getting his first win at the Indy Road Course in the Cup Series. Anthony Alfredo, the first loser of the Cup Series Road Course. Last place finish came during second last place finish of the year. The first came during the Bristol Dirt Race. Currently running for Rookie of the Year. Not looking too good for him. He's running in 30th place. I think Chase Briscoe probably going to get that Rookie of the Year. And that's about it for the racing weekend. We're getting late here. Do you want to skip pick a lanes? I got one quick one. I think it could be an easy answer.
My quick answer, I'll just say, like, the pick a lane.
Do we go back to the road course at Indy for 2022?
Yes.
I agree.
will figure it out.
Yep. A mace. Yes.
Yep. NASCAR will figure it out. They'll get it better. They'll fix it. And I have all the confidence in the world that all the problems that we saw at all the new tracks this year will be fixed. And next year is going to be a ton of fun.
All right. And with that, we look to next week. In the preview, the trucks are going to Worldwide Technology Raceway for the Toyota 200, presented by CK Power, Friday, 9 p.m. on FS1. It's a late truck start race at 9 p.m., so make sure you set the DVRs in case you fall asleep a little early. The first race of the playoffs for the Truck Series. Then Saturday, the Xfinity Series goes to Michigan for the New Holland 250, 3:30 on NBCSN, and on Sunday, Cup Series also at Michigan for the Firekeepers Casino 400, 3 p.m. on NBCSN. According to Bob Pockrass's math, the top 10 will be your front row, Kyle Larson starting at the pole position, Chase Elliott in number 2. Second row is going to be Blaney and DiBenedetto. Row number 3 going to be Martin Truex Jr. and Kurt Busch. Row number 4, Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. And rounding out your top 10 for Michigan starting is going to be 9th place Denny Hamlin and 10th place Alex Bowman. Matt's going to give you some stats, but first we got to give you our review of the of the picks from last week for the Indy Road Course. I said that Chase Briscoe was going to win. He had a shot. He was almost there. He was in the picture
for most of the race.
Made it sound like I knew what I was talking about, but he got me 13 points. Eric picked Christopher Bell to get some redemption against Kyle Larson on the road course. Of course, he was taken out in the first big one. He got you 1 point. And Matt, you are the winner. You chose Kyle Busch. He got into one of those wrecks, but he finished the race. He got you 17 points. So, Matt, you will go last. I will go in the middle, and Eric will pick first.
It's funny. Even when I win, it's only 17 points. Any other week, that would be a big loss.
Good week to get 1 point from my driver. I'll tell you that.
Do you guys? Should I recap the total points right now?
Yeah, let's hear it.
For the season, I am your leader with 810 points. Eric is in second with 767 points, and Matt is way back in third with 690 points. So you are 120 points behind me, the leader.
Time to rally, baby.
Hey, you never know. We got a lot more racing to go. We got 12 more races.
12 races left. Yep.
You can make it up. 10 points here, 10 points there. All it takes.
40 points here, 40 points there. Bub.
Anyways. You got some numbers for Michigan. It's a 2-miler. I think last week I said it was 1.5 miles. I got that one wrong. It's a 2-miler down in Michigan.
Fastest track we go to.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
As far as super speedways, yeah. The non-super speedway, Michigan, yeah.
Oh, is it not a restrictor plate race then?
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay.
They said they were saying with the package and everything, they'll be packed up for the first maybe 5 or 10 laps, and then it'll get stretched out like it usually does. But I do have stats, boys. So before we jump to it, let me go ahead and dive right into those. Like I always do, it is the last 4 races, which have been pretty much dominated by one individual who I do not expect to be a problem this week. So back in 2019, Logano was your winner, and then since then, there's been one man and one man only who has won at Michigan, and that is one Kevin Harvick. The average finishes inside the top 10. Harvick with a 2.5, Martin Truex Jr. with a 3.3, Kyle Busch with the 5th place average finish, Denny Hamlin with a 5.3, Logano with a 7.8. And then there is Larson with an 8.5 average finish in the last 4 races at Michigan. Well, I'm sorry. It's actually the last 2 races for him because he missed both races last year because of the suspension. Laps led, it's Logano with 233 laps led, Harvick with 219, and then everybody else is in double digits. So those 2 really dominating at Michigan lately. And then our favorite stat, top 5 most points accrued in the last 4 races. Harvick 197, Martin Truex Jr. with 167, KFB with 166, Denny with 158, and Joey with 148. So those are your stats brought to you by one Matt Reilly.
All right, Eric. Who are you going with for Michigan?
I'm going to go with who I kind of jumped on a wagon as this season unfolded. And I think he's still been running very consistent. And with how crazy these races have gone, didn't get the finishes that, his whole entirety of the race was going to show for.
Justin Haley.
I'm going to go with the 24 car and Willie B.
Back on the
Good
Willie
pick.
B train. I like it.
Really good pick. Yeah, I like it too.
And do I want to pick Harvick, man?
Here we go.
I really do. I want to.
I know.
I just don't see Stuart Haas getting the setup right though. Like, because
that's the only problem. It's not a Harvick thing.
No,
I know I took a shot at him.
0, it's just something's not right.
Yeah.
From 9 to 0, something is off.
like Haas has been Stuart Haas.
Right?
Stuart Haas has been okay on road courses. They've been decent on short tracks, but a 2-mile track, I don't think so, because we're gonna be high downforce, low horsepower for sure. I mean, I don't even want to pick them, but you got to go Larson. You got to, right?
Yeah,
I'm going.
I don't blame. I was gonna, having that number, but I'm like, something.
I kind
about
of like
that.
Alex Bowman. I feel like, because you said William Byron, I'm like, oh, I bet you Alex Bowman could squeak out a win here.
This is one of those tracks that, right? Like Alex Bowman could definitely just come out of nowhere and just win. Michigan is absolutely one of those tracks.
You know what's going to happen for me? Austin Dillon's going to win and get himself into the playoffs.
I have a weird thing about Kurt Busch this week in Michigan. For some weird reason, he just seems like a guy that's like, he should win Michigan. A Kurt Busch, like, you know what I mean? Like,
just like the veteran guy, you know?
You know what? To the playoffs, like, oh.
So, I'm gonna do it.
Who'd you pick?
I don't know.
Why did you?
I guess I'm going with Larson. I'm going with Larson. I got to, right? I don't know. I don't want to. I want to say Tyler Reddick's going to win, but I don't know.
I'm so far. Okay,
like,
so
that's it. I just want Tyler Reddick to fucking win a race.
So you were so I'm so far down in points, like it almost doesn't matter who I pick. But I'm gonna start going with my gut. I'm gonna make our boy Justin Pierce very happy here. One of our longtime listeners,
friend of the show.
Friend of the show is a better way to put it. Justin, I'm going with your boy Alex Bowman. Like we just said, it's just one of those racetracks that, like, for whatever reason, Bowman could just come out of nowhere and not come out of nowhere, but like he could just quietly just hang around. I know, but they're quiet 3 wins.
I know.
But whenever Bowman wins, it's just like one of those, like, who saw that coming? But it still like wasn't.
It always
like
makes sense, yeah.
Right. And I could see Bowman doing it this week, so I'm going with Bowman. I'm gonna make all 3 of us take HMS drivers.
Yeah, we're going with the Hendrick Show down in Michigan. We'll see what happens. We are 24 races in. We have 13 different winners in the playoffs. Got to make the distinction now that AJ Allmendinger is our 14th winner, but he did not make the playoffs. Your playoff winning drivers are Michael McDowell, Christopher Bell, William Byron. Can he pull it off in Michigan? We'll see what happens in Daytona's pick. Kyle Larson, will he get his 6th win of the season for old Michael D. White? Warren Truex Jr.'s got 3 wins on the season. Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, can Alex Bowman get his 4th sneaky win of the season? Every single one of those wins was deserved, but man, you didn't see them coming, did you? Brad Keselowski, he's a Michigan native. I'm sure he'd love to get his 2nd win of the season. We'll see what happens there.
Penske's not going to let him.
They're going to give him those R&D breaks again. Kyle Busch, he's got 2 wins on the season. Chase Elliott, 2 wins on the season. Kurt Busch, and your final winner in the playoffs is Eric Almirola. Can we have a different winner, though? Can Tyler Reddick win? Can Austin Dillon win? We got 2 races left of the playoffs. The cutoff line is intense. I'm losing hair every single week because I'm pulling it out, because I'm pulling for Reddick, baby. But this week, I'm hoping that Kyle Larson wins, and I want you to win some money. Place some money on our bets. We'll all break it down for you next Monday night on the Bump and Run podcast. For Matt, the Statman Reilly, for Eric, Daytona Ron, I'm Michael D. White saying have a good night.
Bump and dump and run.